Hello, YouTube. We are back for a 5-week out update, and man, has this felt like a long week. So, I checked in on Tuesday, and this was one of the first check-ins in a really long time where James has been like, everything is perfect. Weight was down, we're looking more conditioned, shape is coming in, and he said posing was perfect. And so it was a really good way to head into this week, and still seeing changes every day. So feeling really good about that, hoping that we can, get to where we need to be without making too many more adjustments. But you never know, right? It just depends on how the body responds from here. And we will do what we have to do to be prepared and ready for the stage. So I did get a few people that reached out with some questions for me personally about the next 5 weeks and how I navigate as, food gets lower and cardio gets higher. So a big part of keeping and preserving your energy through prep is having really great structure and routine before starting a prep. So that is one of the keys that I have found for me in keeping everything a lot easier once you get into the depths of prep. So for example, I like to train after 1 or 2 meals. This allows me to keep my energy up. If I was waking up and training right when I got up, I'd probably be able to do it when I was in a building season or an improvement season or even just maintaining. When you are dieted and depleted, that is not going to be, for most people, the most effective way to get a really good lift in and do what you need to do in the gym. So the other thing that I have found has worked really well for me is splitting up my cardio so that I can get more out of each session. If I tried to do all of my cardio at one time, now that it's over an hour, I wouldn't be putting as much effort into that second half as I was the first. So I find that for my energy, I do a lot better if I do half in the morning and then either half after I train or later that day. Just really making sure that it's not affecting my lifts and even just my energy through the day as I'm training clients. So thinking about like where I'm placing my meals so that I'm not going in to training people and working with, not having any meals for a long time. So, I set up that structure and routine pre-prep, right? So my schedule is set up so that I can have meals at regular intervals, and that kind of gives me a little break, little mental reset so that I can keep my energy up through the day. So there's the answer to that question. The next question was in regards to my mentality and how I approach these next 5 weeks. So in terms of being prepared, I have been making sure that I have everything scheduled from, hair, tan, flights, hotel, all that's lined out. So that puts a lot less stress on these last 5 weeks, and I can really just focus my energy on training and, keeping up with my meals and my cardio. So that's one thing. The other thing mentally is just really watching how I'm talking to myself. I think that as we get super depleted and we're coming up towards the show, it can be really easy to compare ourselves to other people on social media and even be hard on ourselves for maybe we're not exactly where we want to be. And I think that if you are deep into prep, you really have to watch how you're talking to yourself, because that is going to influence your actions and just your mentality about the whole prep in general. And we choose to do this, right? This is a choice. And I love the lifestyle, but it's still a challenge. So you still have to really watch what you're saying to yourself and make sure that it's positive. And, you're not going to be positive all the time, but having a good support system and people you can reach out to when you are in those dark places can make a really big difference. And I'm really grateful for the friends that I have in my circle right now that are supporting me through that. So that is it for there. Really looking forward to seeing how this next week goes. And what would this week's update be without sharing my favorite part of prep and just life sometimes in general, lifting. So no crazy new exercises this week. Still working on progressing the same ones. I'm really happy. I was really happy in the beginning of the week with how strength was holding up, but definitely towards the end, my last leg day was a little rough. So I was able to keep all my weights at least the same and squeeze out a few more reps, but definitely noticing that progression to start to slow a little bit, which is typical. That's going to happen at this point in prep. So I've been prepared for it and just know that, not every training session from here on is going to be great, but just got to keep giving it all I got. So, um, definitely the leg days are the hardest, right? So once I get to the upper body days, it's not as bad. But again, I'm not loading as much for those upper body days either. So one of the things that I did change out is with my lateral raises here. I did go back to using the ankle strap for the attachment, and I do really enjoy using this. I just had kind of forgotten about it. So definitely a good add back in there. If you haven't tried lateral raises with the ankle strap, give it a try. If you are wearing a watch though, you're probably either going to have to make sure your watch is slid down really close to the end of your wrist or maybe even take it off. I'm also going to throw in a little update here. This was after a couple meals during my posing practice. If you want to hear more about something else in regards to this prep, please drop it down below and I will make sure to add it in next week. Thanks, guys.